All right, guys, so you don't need to write this slide, but just kind of give you an overview of what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about how to multiply basically polynomials. So we're going to start off by talking about monomials. Then we're going to talk about multiplying polynomials, okay? So how to multiply two monomials, you'll need to write this down. So go ahead and copy down that slide. I'll give you a second. All right, so we have the coefficients. Can somebody remind me what a coefficient is real quick? Go ahead, Crystal. It's the number that's in front of the variable. It's multiplying the variable. So the coefficients of two monomials, if you're multiplying two monomials, you'll multiply those coefficients together. Now, yesterday we did combining like terms. In that case, you added the coefficients. But today we're going to be multiplying the coefficients. But we do something with the exponents. You add the exponents. Yesterday with the exponents, what did we do with our exponents when we were adding like terms? Like if you had, they stayed the same, right? They didn't change. But today the exponents will change. So if you're multiplying two monomials together, you'll actually add their exponents together. So I'll give you an example on the next slide here. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. Example 1, multiply two monomials. So go ahead and copy that down. Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Right, literally. Show off. That's what I got. So then what? Why'd you put it in parentheses? Well,
Okay. So I'm going to call on some people and ask some questions here. So I'm going to ask Niana, what are the coefficients? We have two coefficients because there's two monomials here. What are the coefficients? Okay, so, and you can leave the x as just the 5 and the -3. But yeah, so 5 and -3. Now on the next slide, on the last slide that we just did, I'm going to ask Miles, what did we say we were going to do with the coefficients when we're multiplying? You're going to multiply them. So 5 times -3 is -15. And now my exponents, Stephen, are 3 and 4. What did we say we were going to do with our exponents? We were going to add them. So 3 and 4 makes 7. Now, I'll explain why that is if you guys are interested. But you don't, I'm not worried about that detail at the moment. But basically, guys, if you don't write this, but if you're multiplying x to the third times x to the fourth, well, you have to know what x to the third means. Does anybody know what x to the third means? What does that mean? It means you're multiplying x by itself 3 times. And therefore, this one means 4 times. Well, we're multiplying these together, so really we're just multiplying 7 x's together. So you might as well just add them. Okay, so that's the idea there. Correct.
Well, that's what I was doing earlier today.
All right. Why is my slide not changing? Uncooperative board. Uncooperative. All right. So student practice time. There you go. Work that out. I'll give you some. Or mother in this case. Whoever it is breathing. All right. Here we go. I'm going to be asking Denise what she got.
What I got?
Yeah.
14x.
So I guess when we multiply, the power is always 7, huh? There's 7 here. No, I'm joking. That's not true. It's just I picked the same number. So it's not always x to the 7th, just so you know. Just because 2 plus 5 makes 7, so that's why that's that. And then -2 times -7 is positive 14. A negative times a negative makes 5. All right, so that's multiplication of two monomials. Once again, I know you guys have seen this before. We're reviewing because stuff, it leaks out of our brain after a while. It's not something you do every day. We're going to build on it. Why am I bored with my machine? Sorry, All right. Please go ahead and write down example 2 there. Write down example 2, please.
Oh, you don't know this one? I do.
Write down example 2. So we just talked about how to multiply two monomials, but now I'm going to multiply a polynomial by a monomial. Focus on your notes. I'm not.
No, I'm doing both. I'm doing both. I can multitask. I'm
That
really
would be
good.
on notes first.
Yeah,
Extra time
of course.
that. Remember, I'm only.
No.
Your 4.2 is correct. I don't usually grade
It's
out.
not because I might give you no.
Whoa! Then don't waste your time.
I'm not with
You can always work ahead of me if you want to, but this is an example, which means I'm going to go through it. All right. Let's begin. All right. So guys, we're going to distribute. And basically what that means is I'm just going to be multiplying this times all three of these. I'm going to multiply 4x squared times that. I'm going to multiply 4x squared times that. And I'm going to multiply 4x squared times that. So, now there's no coefficient written here, but we said yesterday when there's no coefficient, what is it? 1. All right, so let's do this one and this one first. 4 times 1 is 4. 2 plus 3 is 5. So that's that first one. Let's do the next one. 4 times negative 5 is negative 20. And this one doesn't have an exponent, but that doesn't mean it's 0. What is it? It's 1 again. So 2 plus 1 is 3.
No, that one doesn't have an X. How does that work?
Okay, good question. So that's kind of like, it's like a coefficient. It's a constant, but you just do 4 times 8, which is 32. And since there's no x, this guy doesn't get to change. It stays as x squared. So the x squared just stays the same, but the 4 times the 8 becomes 32, right? So a couple of things to pay attention to. If there's no coefficient, it's 1. If there's no exponent, it is 1. And for the one that doesn't have an x, when you multiply, you just keep the variable and power the same. Okay? So here's one for y'all. Once again, do it on your own, and then check your answer with your team. I really do want you guys to talk to each other, compare answers. Sometimes when I call on you guys, you look at your team and ask help them. I want that help to have already been gotten. So make sure you guys are ready when I call you. Just compare your answers. It could be as simple as just showing in your paper saying this is what I got.
I'm trying to figure out what yeah, she told me, she said her schedule should not put her like.
You only add, you add like terms, but you don't add exponents.
Okay.
Okay, I got it. It's 10x power 5. 35.
No, that's not that. That's not that.
Just because I know that 13 is a prime number, there's no way you could really multiply to get 13.
No, that's not. It's not that.
Oh.
Yeah, I could do it.
Oh.
Am I?
Oh.
No.
And what we say to our mom is, I'll do better.
No, literally, you just
And
tell
Mr.
your,
Bailey said it's not good that they give this one.
No, it is.
From now on, Mom, I swear,
Tell
I
your
will
mom
always
what
do my
was
homework
said.
at night. I'm
No.
supposed to, not right before
yeah,
class.
tell your mom what homework was mistake.
So homework is about 10 to 15, 15% of your grade.
And
And we have
tests
some,
are eight,
yes, tests are huge. Very big part.
If you don't count this and I'm doing it, I'm looking so nice.
He's not gonna count it unless you got 4.2 right. It already was right.
She's hoping I'll change my mind. I won't. And it's not because I don't love you.
No,
It's
all
because
you guys hate me. And
I
you
have
want me
to be
to go my mom
consistent.
to yell at me and scream at me.
No, I have to be consistent and fair.
No, you can.
I can make an exception. All right, so I'll give you like another few seconds. Please do check your answers with a neighbor. So when I call on you, you're not looking at them then, but then you already have your answer. You can read it right off your paper with confidence. All right. It's funny. I almost did it too, but I resisted.
Youngs are contagious.
Great minds think alike.
Did we
That's-
all
That was crazy though. Lily, did you yawn too?
Lily, this pencil is amazing. Bro, give it back.
No.
Bro.
All right, I'm gonna ask for some help here. So let me talk to Leah. Leah, what was your final answer there?
10x.
Oh, sorry.
10x.
10x, 5
Uh-huh.
minus 35x
Oh, my
Squared. Okay, so this power is actually going to be 3 plus 1, which is going to be 4. But that's okay. What'd you get for the last one?
20.
Okay, so minus 20, right? X to the third. So 4 times negative 4, I'm sorry, 5 times negative 4 is negative 20. And since this one has no x, we keep the variable the same, so it's x to the third. Any questions about that? So we're working on polynomial multiplication, and you got to remember to put that in a separate category in your brain than polynomial addition. Different rules, right? That was yesterday. So far we've multiplied 2 monomials, and now we've done monomial with a polynomial. Now we're going to take it to polynomial times polynomial. Things get kind of weird there, so let's begin. Change slides for me anymore. All right. Go ahead and write down example 3, please. So here's the thing. I've got a binomial, 2 terms, being multiplied by a binomial. Now, when you have that, you need to, I'm going to do it using a method called the box method. You've probably seen it. But if you haven't, maybe you came from a school where your teacher used something called the FOIL method. But they're essentially the same thing. I'm going to stick with the box method. So here we go. So how many terms are here?
2.
And how many terms are here?
2.
So I need a 2 by 2 box. I need my box to be 2 long and 2 high. So that's going to look like this. I'll try to make it a little bigger actually so you guys can see more. But I need a box that's 2 spaces long and 2 spaces high. A 2 by 2 box. Okay? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take this first binomial and we're going to put it on the top. So I'm going to put the x here and the minus 4 here. Then I'm going to take this other binomial and I'm going to put it down the side. So it's going to go 3x here and plus 5 here. All this is, guys, this is just a way to organize your information. As basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to multiply this x by everything over here, and I'm going to multiply this 4 by everything over here also. And the box is just a nice way to organize your information and make sure you get everything, because if you're just trying to do it mentally, you might miss a piece. So the box makes sure that you hit every part up, and also organizes it so you can find some like terms, which we'll talk about when we get there. Here we go. So to fill in this box here, you're going to multiply the number above it, and don't circle it, I'm just doing that for me. But to fill in this box here, you're going to multiply the number above it and to the left of it, okay? So what is x times 3x? Ponder that for a second and fill in the box, and I'll call on someone to share out. But did you have a question, Emily?
No, yeah, I was going to say about
Oh, it disappeared. Yeah. Okay, gotcha. Thank you. All right, so we're filling in that missing blank. Let me see if Lily can tell me what that is. What's the missing blank? It's 3x to the second power because 3 times 1 is 3. X1 and x1, add those ones and you get 2, right? All right, now I'm going to fill in the next blank here, this guy right here. Now to do that, I need to multiply this one times this one. All right, so go ahead and fill in your blank there. Now, wait, what? So let me back up and slow down a little bit. I want this blank, the one above it, and the one to the left of it. So it's this times this, right? So go ahead and fill in your blank and see if you can figure out what that would be. Check with your partner there. I'll call on you in a few moments.
Are you okay? Yeah.
All right, so Azalea, what did you get? I agree. 3 times -4 is -12, and there's just one x, so it just stays the same. All right, so let me ask Crystal a question. Crystal, if I want to find this number, what two pieces do I need to multiply together, do you think?
X and 5.
These two. So the one above it and the one to the left, right, every time. So go ahead and fill in that blank. I'll call on you to share out your answer. Once again, don't circle them. I'm just doing that emphasis. Check your answer with a neighbor. All right, so Alonzo, what did you get?
6x.
You're close. Now what you did was you did 5 plus 1 and got 6, but we want to do 5 times 1. So what would that be? Try again. Very good. 5x to the power of 1. All right, and then our last one, I'm going to ask Amaya to get this blank. What two things do I want to multiply together? Good. And that's, I'll just put the answer. 5 times -4 is -20. Okay? Now, I've multiplied every pair of pieces together that I can. The box is complete, so I know that's done. So now I've got 4 pieces to my answer here. I've got 3x squared, starting with the highest power, right? And then I've got -12x. I also have 5x. And I have -20. Do you guys see any like terms?
Yeah.
There are like terms. Now, what are they? So this is a review from yesterday, but yesterday we talked about like terms. Like terms are two monomials that have the same variable with the same power, right? Now, are we multiplying these?
No.
No, those are being added, right? So now we have to, once again, reach back into your memory banks from yesterday. When you add like terms, all you do is add the coefficients. You don't change the
Variable.
exponent or variable. So what is -12 and 5 if I put those together?
I'm not saying
Okay. So step 1, fill in your box. Step 2, combine your like terms. All right, but that's a tricky thing now because you're really doing two different things. Over here we are multiplying. Over here we are adding or subtracting. So you got to remember the rules from yesterday and the rules for today. Okay. All right. So that's that. Can I erase? Oh, and by the way, I almost never show this step myself because the cool thing about the box method is most of the time the like terms will be diagonal to each other, just like that. So I'll just do that in my head. So I'll just say, okay, 3x squared is first. I'll put these together in my head. -12 and 5 is -7x. And then I'll put the 20 last. So I won't show this step a lot of the time. You don't need to. But you can. So 2 reasons why the box is cool. It shows, make sure that you hit every pair together. Once it's full, you're done. Second good reason is it lines up your like terms for you. It's kind of nice. So I like the box method personally. All right, I'm going to. Oh, okay. Technology. is strange. All right. It looks like I did not change the problem, so I'm going to have to change the problem. So let's see here. My birthday is May, so it's the 5th.
Can you do April 16th? Can you do July?
20.
Don't do it.
6.
4/16.
4?
4/16.
Well, I can look at the 4. But there you go. So go ahead and see if you guys can do this one.
Right?
Go ahead and do that one, see what you guys get. I'm gonna get your box set up first, and check with your partner. Say, hey, this is how I set up my box. What do you think? Does that look right? Get your box set up and check with your team. In math, if you get the first step wrong, that affects the second step, so you go back twice as far. So check each step as you go. Set your box up. Check with your team. All right, once you guys have got your box set up right, fill it in. And once again, after you've filled it in, check with your team before you move on to the last step. Because you don't want to have it filled in wrong, because that'll affect the third step. So once again, after you fill in your box, check with your team, make sure they agree with you on what you put in there. So that way, when you start your last step up, you're good to go. So what's the exponent on this side?
Because like this has an X in it.
I think you're.
Wait, does it make it? Does this X make it to the
Oh,
power?
I'm sorry.
Does this X make it to the power?
Yeah, because they both have a power of 1, and 1 plus 1 is 2. So you add those exponents up.
I wonder what Lily got.
Lily. I'm getting all my questions right.
All right, make sure you check after that third step. I'm going to give you like another minute or two here, and then we're going to share out our results.
Should not. Should not. That's mine.
Who?
Don't do it.
And this was going to be a positive 8 because
Mr. Baby, look what I have.
plus 20, that 12 is less than 2. So take a second bigger number in your times. So just change it to a plus. So guys, make sure you agree on this paper here because this is correct.
Mr. Bailey, look what I have.
Let's see here. No.
Where did my pen go?
So did you all get negative 8?
Yes. No, it's 8.
It's positive. Because we were 20 minus 12.
told me that was the answer.
No, I didn't.
I know.
You know what?
Oh, so we're gonna do
Did you believe it?
I don't. I think so. Not like that.
I can see.
How was that funny? Do you last? Do you last? Your grandma was
No.
like when my grandma's house one time.
Everybody was quiet.
When I go to my grandma's house for Christmas
Yeah,
and
we have a
Thanksgiving.
Christmas tree.
Well, I
And
don't.
then on Christmas Day, we have a
So what?
yes, every Christmas, every yes. Oh my God, every Christmas Eve we have a Christmas party. We stay up till midnight and then midnight we open gifts. That's Santa Claus. In the morning we open yes, and then in the morning we open gifts and then last year we went to Spider-Man. I cried.
All right, let's see what you guys got.
I know it gets like 30.
Okay, Armani, what goes here?
30x squared.
Cool.
Correct.
Natalie, what goes here? Good. Aaliyah, what goes here?
20x. I can do it.
And then Cal, what goes here?
My bracelet says my name.
Okay. Sophia, what are my like terms? Yeah, the ones on this diagonal, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm going to start writing my answer here. My first answer is going to be 30x squared. This guy here. My last one's going to be -8. In the middle is going to be whatever we get by combining those two. So let me talk to Vidal. If I add these two together, what do I get? 8x. And it's a positive 8x, right? So final answer is this. Okay? So that's multiplying two polynomials, a binomial times a binomial. We're going to go one step further, and that'll be it for today. Anybody got a prediction of what I'm going to do? Trinomials, yeah? So, very good. So, we can do that too. Let's see how you guys do with that. It's the same thing. It's just the box gets bigger. I know.
God, oh my
Exciting! All right. So, go ahead and write down example 4.
It was student practice 3. Yeah.
Write down example 4.
I think she has erasable pens.
Really?
Yeah. I love being in a class with her.
Okay, now some of you guys are getting ahead of me. That's okay, because I was going to ask you to do this anyway. If you have a pencil, unless you want to scribble something out with a pen, because it's possible you'll be wrong. But I want you to try to predict. I'd like you to draw the box for this one. Just set up the box. What would your box look like? Just sketch what you think it is. And I say use a pencil so you can erase it if you're wrong. There's 2 options that you can use. One of the options is that works. Do that. I might
like
do it.
that.
I might do it a little bit differently, but yes, that'll work.
Look,
It's that works.
look at my emoji pencil. I don't even have to use it.
All right. So, here's our box. What kind of a bonus time? Raise your hand though. What do we call this kind of polynomial, Denise? And what do we call this one? A trinomial. So I'm doing a binomial to a trinomial. That means it's a 2 by 3 box that I need to draw. Okay, now you have two options for how you set that up. You could do this, or you could do this. And just so you guys know, I have to pick one, so some of you guys are going to have to abandon ship on one and go. It doesn't matter. They'll both give you the same answer. So if you know how to do it, you're good. But I will say I like this method better over here for finding the like terms. I don't know, it just seems more friendly to me. But this one works too, honestly. They're really the same. I just like that horizontal one more. So I'm going to go with that. So here we go. So we need to have 3 spaces long for the trinomial, but we need 2 spaces high for the binomial. And yes, we can make this even worse. I'm not going to get into that today, but we could do a trinomial times a trinomial, and you'll have a 3 by 3 box. But here we go. So now I really only have one option for this what goes here. What do you guys think I'm going to put right there? It has to be the 4x because this is the binomial side here, and minus 1 has to go here. The trinomial is going to go along the top. Okay, now why don't you guys fill in the box? Go ahead. You just multiply the number above the box by the number outside on the left and fill them in.
What?
Did you shake that juice?
Huh?
Did you shake it?
Yes, it should shake well.
Yeah, I know it does.
You ever get those drinks that say shake poorly?
No.
I'm just joking.
Can you please shake this and do a really bad job at it?
Yeah, I do. Look, even that one where I was like, oh, and I promised you that. No, I promised the weather. Oh my, and I promised the weather.
You're singing it wrong.
Wait, no, it's like, the weather. And I promised the weather. Oh my. You know that one?
Are you talking about that song?
Yeah, we like
Yeah, everything.
What are you doing?
You know what I'm saying?
Wait, it is the way.
It's something the weather. And I promise forever. Oh my. You know that one?
All right. So I'm gonna call on you guys to share out what you have there.
Because you're singing it really well.
Jeremiah, would you tell us this top row, please?
Wait, 8x and 3 squared and 20x negative 12x.
Oh, and this one does have a 2. I'm sorry if I missed that one, but 1 plus 1 makes 2. So we do have a 2 there. Let's see if we could talk to David. What did you get for the bottom row? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. All right. So, once again, if there are like terms, they'll probably be diagonal from each other. Probably. There are exceptions, so you have to actually check it. But, are those like terms?
Yeah.
Yes, they are. Are these like terms?
Yeah.
Yes, they are. So, that's one of the benefits of the box method. It lines them up. The ones in the green there are both x squared, and the ones in the purple there are both x to the first power, so we can combine those. So, let's begin here. My highest power is 8x to the third. Now, let's combine these. What is negative 2x squared plus 20x squared?
18x squared.
18x squared. So remember, when you're adding, we're not multiplying now, we're adding. You just combine the coefficients. 20 take away 2 is 18, and you keep the power the same. Let's do the purple. What's negative 5x and negative 12x combined?
Negative 7.
And then finally, it's already in descending order, so we're already going from biggest power to lowest. The box, once again, usually takes care of that for you. So it's just a really nice way to organize your work and find like terms. So I'm a big fan of the box method. So it's the same thing, it's just bigger, it's just more. And I only have one more student practice for you guys, and that's where we'll call it a day. So go ahead and knock that out, and we'll see what you guys can do. I'll do one last spin around to check off notes, so you guys don't have to upload notes today.
I finished my notes and 1.4.1 homework. Please
Where
put
I
it
wrote
in.
this. Okay, so what I did was I just chose not to show my work, so it might be why you're a little bit confused. So basically what we have is we have 6 results. So what you can do, if that's confusing to you, and once you get used to it, it probably won't be, but the more practice, the better. Instead of doing what I did, you can actually just write all of them out in order. Now, as you do it, though, maybe it might help to line them up and like, well, forget it. 2x squared minus 5x plus 3. So all I did was I took all 6 of these out of the square and put up a straight line, right? Now let's combine the like terms. Is there anything like this here?
Oh.
So that one has an x to the second power. This one has a 3. So those aren't like terms, so we can't combine. You see the x to the third power? Is it?
No.
Okay, so then he stays the same.
He's a junior. He's Michael.
Now we've got 20x squared. Are there any other x squareds?
Weasley.
Now we can combine those. Now when we combine these, we just do the coefficients. 20 take 2, which is
You?
and then just keep going. So we've got those done. See if that one has like terms. And it does. And then those are gone. And then finally the plus 3 doesn't have anything finally. So here it is. So what I did was instead of writing it out and putting like terms like this, I just noticed the like terms were already here and I did that part in my head. So we had these 2 like terms. There they are.
What?
And then we had these 2 like terms. There they are.
What?
I just did that in my head. But if it helps you to write them out and combine them one at a time, go with that. Okay.
Have you seen Harry Potter?
I'm gonna literally.
Okay. Just checking off notes.
Yes, my notes are done. Shit.
Oh,
Class.
What did you get?
hold on, I'm not done.
Oh, yes, the shades of love.
It's 3x minus 29x 2 plus 36x minus
Minus what?
minus 10. I don't even know if she's gonna do this.
I'm done. Let's go on
Take the blood in the leather. Touch your blood in the leather. And I clock the leather.
Did you make that up or is that actually?
It's a TikTok trend.
Those are- No, it's not.
Here's the blood in the leather.
You're singing it wrong, so I know you
And
made
that
it up.
frog is look, Google it again. My mommy tried to use it. Look how the box is.
My mom.
I know my mom does.
Lily, I'm coming over.
Why? No, sit down.
It's okay, Lily. I got
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, come on. Let's give her a backpack too.
Yeah.
I have one too. What? I have one too.
Hi, Lily.
It's okay. Oh, here you go, Miss Baby.
It's right on your paper. Do you see it?
I
don't see it.
Can you see
It's
that?
on your paper.
Oh, I see it.
Oh, was it this one?
Yeah. Okay.
No.
Yeah, I think it was. I didn't get this one.
What?
Nice
Bro,
job.
that was
Do
Do you want to check our notes? I did. All right, guys. So
Alright, you can check mine.
Huh? I did. I always skip this stage. I forget. Go around. All right, guys. So I'll put the answer up so you guys can check your work if you're interested.
Ow! You're missing my shoes. Oh my god, I know, I'm sorry. They're so even. Mine looks so dirty. Who's it?
Azalea. You might not recognize it there, right? There's been a bunch of kids way over there. It causes problems. Thank you.
What?
I ran out.
Lily.
Definitely videos.
Right. You made me step in mud.
Bro,
Yeah,
I did not.
I know. I don't have your shoes.
All right, guys. So there's the answer. If you want to check your work.